Today's historic signing of recreational marijuana in Minnesota comes after years of advocating and dozens of committee meetings in the state legislature.
The new law goes into effect on August 1st. People 21 and older will be allowed to possess up to 2 ounces of cannabis flowers, 8 grams of cannabis concentrate, and 800 milligrams of edible products. Minnesotans will also be able to grow up to 8 cannabis plants, but only up to 4 are allowed to be mature and flowering at the same time. Under the new law, petty misdemeanor and misdemeanor marijuana convictions will be expunged from criminal records. The Minnesota BCA estimates 66,000 previous charges could be erased. For cities like Moorhead, Breckenridge, and East Grand Forks, they'll soon enter a legal marijuana market. They all border larger cities in North Dakota where it's still illegal.
WDAY News reporter Nick Broadway joins us live with how legalization impacted border cities in other parts of the country put in a similar situation. Nick.
Yeah, Dana, Kirsten, Ontario is a city with about 11,000 people, and in less than 2 years, stores in that Oregon city made more than $100 million from marijuana sales. How? Well, they're right next to the Boise metro area where it's still illegal. There are more than 400,000 people make up the majority of Ontario's marijuana customers. That's according to its city manager. He tells me adjusting to this industry throughout the past few years has been a learning experience. Dan Cummings calls it a shot in the arm for Ontario's economy. But the start of the industry came with some initial growing pains.
Yeah, we've got extra money. Is it all benefit? No, because with that comes a lot of legal issues.
He tells me after Oregon voters legalized it in 2014, a surge of people from the Boise area moved to Ontario, driving up rent costs as housing availability plummeted. They also noticed an increase in theft crimes. This may play out differently in Fargo-Moorhead, since our downtown areas are within walking distance. Ontario and Boise are about 50 miles from each other. Still, he says Minnesota's border cities need to start planning now.
I don't know what they've done, but if nothing, they probably ought to start thinking about it really quick and hard.
For Ontario, he says they needed to establish conditional use permits for marijuana retailers. They required and regulated things like remodeling older buildings if a shop takes it over, having enough bathrooms and ample parking, focusing on ways to keep swarms of marijuana customers from interfering with neighboring businesses.
Doing that, we ended up with some really nice buildings. So again, they become an asset.
Of the $100 million made in their first 2 years, about $3 million of that goes to the city of Ontario. Cummings says sales spiked at first, then started slowly declining. As we mentioned earlier, the legalization law takes effect on August 1st in Minnesota. They need to establish a licensing system before retailers can start selling. That could take until the year 2025. Reporting live, Nick Broadway, WDAY News.